In a universe full of heroes, villains, and endless stories, one nomad travels through it all. From epic battles to legendary tales, welcome to the journey. This is Neutron Nomad, where imagination never rests. The city of Madripoor burned with neon lights, but in its underworld something darker stirred. A rogue biotech corporation had created an experimental serum designed to make mercenaries unkillable. Unfortunately, it didn't just heal, it mutated, turning test subjects into raging monstrosities. Logan Wolverine was on the trail, following the scent of blood and chemicals. He wanted to shut the operation down before it spread. But he wasn't the only one on the job. Enter Deadpool. Wade Wilson had been hired by the very corporation to retrieve the stolen serum. Naturally, he interpreted that as cause maximum chaos, get paid, maybe blow something up. The two crossed paths in an abandoned warehouse, surrounded by cages filled with snarling, half-mutated mercs. Deadpool grinning. Logan, buddy, partner, rival, future Netflix spin-off co-star. You here to shut this down, or just brood in the shadows? Wolverine snarling, get out of my way. Wade, this place stinks of death. Deadpool, correction, death. Fried chimichangas, and all. That's me. Forgot deodorant again. Before Logan could shove Wade aside, the cages burst open. The mutated mercs, hulking beasts with claws, teeth, and glowing veins charged. What followed was chaos. Wolverine slashed through enemies with primal fury, his claws cutting through steel and flesh alike. Deadpool duel wielded katanas, cracking jokes while getting his limbs torn off only to regenerate mid-fight. At one point, Wolverine hurled Deadpool like a throwing knife into a monster's chest. Deadpool responded mid-air. Fastball special, baby. But no refund if I explode. As the dust settled, the last mutant stood 3 times Wolverine's size, with skin armored like stone. It pinned Logan, claws pressing into his throat. Deadpool for once dropped the jokes. He skewered the creature's arm, giving Wolverine the opening to gut it from the inside. The beast collapsed, smoking from the serum's instability. Breathing heavily, Wolverine glared at Wade. Wolverine, you almost got me killed. Deadpool smiling behind the mask. Yeah, but admit it, too had fun. Wolverine, fun's not the word I'd use. Deadpool, fine. How about Wolvie? The building began to collapse, flames licking the walls. As they escaped into the night, Wade jogged beside Logan, humming Deadpool, claws, and chaos. The musical, I'll start writing the script. Wolverine growls, try it, and I'll end you. And so, the unlikely duo disappeared into Madripoor's shadows, one brooding, one singing off-key, leaving behind nothing but wreckage, bodies, and the promise of another explosive team-up. The stench of stale waste filled the air in Madripoor, a neon-lit city that never slept. But if it did, it would dream of claws and chaos. High above the teeming masses, a secret biotech corporation was creating a serum that would mutate mercenaries into unstoppable monsters. But someone had tipped off the authorities, and now Wolverine was on his way to shut it down. Meanwhile, Deadpool was hired by the corporation to recover the serum. But let's be real, he was mainly there to cause chaos. Their paths first crossed in an abandoned warehouse, where they immediately began fighting. It was clear Logan meant business, but Wade was just getting warmed up. He sliced and diced, quipped and dodged, landing a few solid hits before making a hasty retreat. Soon, though, the cages holding the newly created mutants burst open, and the monsters were set loose. Wolverine tore through them with feral precision, but more kept coming. Just when it seemed like he'd be overwhelmed, Deadpool dropped from the ceiling, sliced a few heads off, and quipped, "Looks like we got ourselves a party, people." He was right. This was gonna be one hell of a night. As the battle raged, Deadpool kept up the jokes. Even when he got a hand torn off and then regenerated, he just laughed and said, "Hey, at least I'm the only one having fun here." Wolverine wasn't amused. But he couldn't deny that Wade was putting in work. And when all seemed lost and the warehouse was about to collapse, Logan had an idea. With a grunt, he picked Deadpool up and hurled him through the air like a deadly projectile. "It's the fastball special," yelled Deadpool as he sliced through the remaining monsters and landed at their feet, quipping, "Hey, thanks for the assist, Logan." But their victory was short-lived because the final monster was still at large. It was a massive creature with stone-like skin that slammed Wolverine to the ground and pinned him down. As the beast prepared to deliver a fatal blow, Deadpool finally dropped the jokes. He took aim and struck the monster in the neck with a pair of katanas, slicing it open just enough for Wolverine to slip inside its ribcage and tear out its heart. With the threat neutralized, the building began to collapse. "Come on, Wade," yelled Wolverine over the din. "We gotta get out of here." But Deadpool was already halfway out, singing at the top of his lungs, completely off-key. "We fought, we clawed, we kicked some ass. Now let's get out of this place before it blows." Wolverine threw his head back and let out a long, suffering sigh. "You know, sometimes I wonder why I even bother." As they made their way out of the collapsing building, Deadpool quipped, "Don't worry, Logan, we can turn this whole thing into a Broadway musical. Claws and Chaos, the musical." Logan shot him a withering look. "Just shut up and let me walk." And so they left together, one brooding and the other singing. "We may be broken, but we're broken free." Well, that was certainly one way to spend a Tuesday.